right, ladies and gentlemen, please keep eating, but we want to go ahead and get our program started so we can get you out of here on a good hour. First of all, I would like to recognize some people who put in a lot of effort in pulling this dinner together, and I would like to identify them and have them stand when we finish. First is Kirsten Roberts from the VSGA, who handles all the invitations and hotel reservations and worked with Independence on all the preparation. Chris Lang writes all of our articles and press releases, and he does all the other materials for the Hall of Fame. Chris Palmer and Anthony Kukas of Kenmont Group developed the website that houses the virtual Virginia Golf Hall of Fame, and they also put together tonight's presentation. Courtney Hamlet, Josh Coates, and Matt Smiley are all involved with every aspect of our evening tonight. So I'd like to have them stand and thank them for all their good work. Several members of the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame are with us this evening, and I'd like to recognize them as well. From the inaugural class of 2016, Vinnie Giles and Lanny Watkins. From the class of 2019, Tom McKnight. And from the class of 2020, Candy Kessler-Comer, Wayne Jackson, and David Partridge. I think it's a great honor to have current members of our Hall of Fame joining us for dinner, and we thank them for being here. Candy Kessler-Comer, class of 2020, will offer a welcome on behalf of the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame.
All right, great turnout, great event. Anyway, hope everybody enjoyed the meal. It was a great meal. So I'm honored on behalf of the members of the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame to welcome everybody here tonight. It's going to be a special night. You know, I sat here last year and was inducted, and I have to say it was probably the greatest memory in my career. And, you know, I've had a long career in golf, and it was just a special night. So I really encourage everybody that's being inducted to enjoy the evening. It's a great time. I'm happy to be here. My coach is being inducted, Phil Owenby, so it's a little extra special for me. But we're really happy with the turnout and happy everybody's here. And I can promise, like I said, as I sat here, it was just the greatest time of my life. And I encourage the inductees tonight to really enjoy it. It's something you'll remember for the rest of your life. I enjoyed having breakfast with you this morning, getting to know some of you a little better. I know Sarah Grace actually knows my daughter, played basketball at University of Mary Washington, so that was special catching up. But she didn't tell me any good scoop on her, any stories. She said she was a nice girl. I was like,
Yeah, well, she was friendly too, and she was one of the really good basketball players at UW.
Well, thank you. I wanted some more dirt on her though, but didn't quite get it. But anyway, I'm very excited to be back this year. I know that I will always attend these whenever it's possible, and I'll do everything I can to be here. And I think it's important as former Hall of Fame, you know, as Hall of Fame members that we do come back and support. So I will encourage this year's class to always come back and support the new members and encourage. I feel like it's part of our responsibility. It's a great honor that we're here. And I just want to, again, congratulate everybody being inducted. Thank you to everybody for coming. And it's going to be a great night. So let's enjoy it and have a good time.
Thank you, Candy. To guide us through our ceremony this evening, we're very fortunate to have Lanny Watkins as our Master of Ceremonies. You'll find a brief biography of Lanny in your booklet, which details his many accomplishments in golf. In addition to being a U.S. Amateur Champion, multiple PGA Tour champion, major champion, a member of several Ryder Cup teams, a Ryder Cup team captain, and a member of the World Golf Hall of Fame, Lanny is most importantly a member of the inaugural class of the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame. He's also an outstanding broadcaster. Isn't that right, Billy Ray? He's a true Virginia gentleman and really a good guy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lanny Watkins. Good.
Gib, thank you very much. And for me, I got to tell you, it's just great being back in Virginia. I don't get an opportunity to get back here as often as I would like. A lot of friends here still, and every time I'm back here, I'm just blown away at the beauty of Virginia. And it's when you live in Texas, and it's nothing pretty down there at all except the women. So it's kind of it's a tough sell sometimes, but it's great to be back, and so many fond memories, so many old friends that I get to come back here and see, and you know, being with the VSGA here today, it's outstanding. We were talking today, and I wasn't really aware until I started looking at it that I won 8 times I was a VSGA champion, not just a junior champion, the amateur champion, but with my buddy Wayne Jackson, we won the first 3, I think, partner championships that they ever had. First was at Farmington, and which Wayne said they can't even find the scores. And I said, well, the first round was easy, Wayne. I shot 64 and you didn't cut me. So then we won, I think, at the River Course in Newport News and the Williamsburg Country Club. And then we also won I was on the Meadowbrook team that won the state team championship that same year at Farmington. So a lot of things going on, and it's always great to be back. And we're going to try and get this thing rolling here. I know a lot of people want to move on and get on with the evening. So I get to run the slides here, so y'all got to bear with me as we move on here. With everything here that's going on, first thing I want to do is welcome you to the Independence Golf Club. It's a relatively young facility that has quickly established itself as one of Virginia's finest public golf and event venues. Along with an 18-hole championship course, which has hosted the State Open of Virginia the last 2 years, and then the Senior Open of Virginia since 2019. Independence features the Bear Short Course, along with disc golf and foot golf courses. Now, I knew a lot of guys that played foot golf back in the day. Some of them still do. Independence is also an important testing facility for the Virginia Tech Turfgrass program. The championship course will be one of 2 stroke play qualifying hosts for the U.S. Mid-Amateur Championship in 2024. Independence is hosting the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame induction ceremony for the first time, and we would like to thank President Gift Breed, Director of Dining and Events Megan Kidd, and the entire Independence staff for their hospitality this evening. Information on tonight's inductees, along with those inducted in the previous classes, can be found on the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame website, a place you can visit from anywhere in the world without having to take a step. The mission of the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame is captured in the phrase, recognizing excellence, honoring heritage. Tonight will do exactly that. The Virginia Golf Hall of Fame opened its virtual doors in 2016 with the induction of the 6-member inaugural class at the Omni Homestead Resort. There's a guy on the top left that actually had hair back then. I'm not sure who that is. Inside our building, you will find rooms dedicated to each class of the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame. The class of 2017 was inducted at the Country Club of Virginia. Class of 2018 was inducted at Hermitage Country Club. They were so hard up, they put my brother in. The class of 2019 was inducted at Farmington Country Club. Right in the middle of that class, I see a man that cost me a master's, Harry Easterly, so we'll bypass him. class of 2020 and 21 were inducted in a joint ceremony in October 2021 at Hermitage Country Club. And then the class of 2021 featuring our good old friend Moss Beecroft. Miss him a lot. Some of the great people. One thing I remember about Moss, I played the Virginia State Amateur, and I'd beaten Moss in the morning round of the State Amateur. And I was going to play in the afternoon. It might have been the year I played Curtis in the semis in the afternoon. And I had a big, deep-face Arnold Palmer driver. And I go to the first tee, and Moss is standing there with several of his buddies, and they're sitting there laughing. And I didn't know what the hell was going on, and I whipped my head cover off and put my driver behind my ball to hit my shot. And Moss had stuck a great big Chiquita brand banana sticker right on top of Palmer. So I'm sitting there looking, I got Chiquita on my driver. I knew exactly where it came from, so I went ahead and hit it and then took it off, which was probably illegal, but what the hell. Tonight we will unveil the wall featuring the inductees of the class of 2022. You'll find more information on each inductee in the booklet at your tables this evening. If you've not already done so, you will also notice that some of the members of our hall have already signed their names in your booklets, so you don't have to stand in line to get autographs after dinner. We will not be available. So, anyway, glad everybody's here, and we're going to get this party rolling. So the first person we're going to talk about is Lily Harper Martin. She was known as the Tiny Typhoon of Portsmouth. And true to that name, Lily Harper Martin took the Virginia women's golf world by storm in the pre-World War II era. Yeah, I'm doing all kinds of things up here, guys, so you got to bear with me here. Harper Martin set a mark that stood the test of time between 34 and 41. She won a whopping 7 VSGA Women's Amateur Championships, one more than Robbie King Ewell, Mary Patton Jansen, and 2 more than Donna Andrews. Tonight, Lily Harper Martin joins those 3 accomplished ladies in the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame. Lily also joins her brother Chandler Harper in the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame. Chandler was among the 6 inductees of the inaugural class in 2016. Together they formed the finest brother-sister combo the Commonwealth has ever seen. The Virginia Golf Hall of Fame is proud to induct Lily Harper Martin as a member of its class of 2022 in recognition of the many years of excellence and outstanding contributions to the game of golf in Virginia and beyond. Presented this 19th day of October 2022. And no one is here to, please. Amazing career that she had. You know, it's sad that probably none of us in this room really got to see her play or see what she accomplished. It was outstanding stuff. We know what Chandler did and how great he was. I can only imagine the quality of golf she played alongside him. So great to have her honored. No one is here to really say anything on her behalf, so I want the rest of you inductees to remember what a great job and how brief her remarks were in accepting. And we're going to move on to a guy that a lot of us knew very, very well, Bunny Blankenship. The winner of the Virginia State Golf Association Senior Amateur Championship received the H.M. Bunny Blankenship Trophy. It honors Blankenship for his contributions to the growth and development of the VSGA in the years after World War II. A member of Boonesboro Country Club, here again, that guy that calls me a Masters, and my partner Wayne Jackson, by the way. Right there, Wayne, you were a lot younger there, buddy. You look good. I think getting the state amateur trophy here when you won, probably. A member of Boonesboro Country Club in Lynchburg, Blankenship served as the 8th president of the VSGA's all-volunteer board of directors in 59 and 60. During that time, the VSGA Executive Committee, which consisted of some of the Commonwealth's better players, wanted to expand the organization's services and outreach beyond just conducting its golf championships. The committee chose Blankenship to lead that effort, and he was given the title of Executive Secretary. Blankenship held that post for 10 years, and it's amazing the amount of things he did. The one thing I remember is I don't think from the time I played in the early 60s in a VSG event until I was done playing in 71 that I ever attended a VSG event that Bunny Blankenship was not there. He was at every single one. He was an amazing person and one of the really, truly great men. And Blankenship held that post for 10 years. The executive secretary's responsibilities were numerous, among them printing, mailing, and receiving all entrance forms and collecting entry fees for the VSGA tournaments. Work with other VSGA officials to conduct championships, pay bills, somebody had to, and collect all club dues, assemble photos, articles, and ads for the VSGA annual publication, and act as a liaison between the VSGA and statewide media. Blankenship earned the nickname Mr. Golf in Virginia for his exhaustive efforts. The Fox-Puss Invitational at Boonesboro was created to honor Blankenship, known also as Fox, and clubmate Charles Hancock Puss. It began in 1971 and remains one of Virginia's most popular amateur tournaments. Ned Baber getting the state amateur championship trophy from Blankenship. There's a man that Ned was actually in Richmond when I was growing up. We used to play each other in the city amateur back in the day before he moved out of town. The Virginia Golf Hall of Fame is proud to induct H.M. Bunny Blankenship as a member of its class of 2022 in recognition of many years of excellence and outstanding contributions to the game of golf in Virginia and beyond. Presented this 19th day of October, 2022. Virginia Golf Hall of Fame inaugural class inductee Vinnie Giles, who grew up in Lynchburg and was a member at Boonesboro, will now come up and give some remarks on Blankenship, along with Matt Smiley, who's the current director of the VSGA.
I thought you were going to give us a pass.
No, well, you better make it quick.
You want me to go first?
As slow as you play, go ahead.
Smart ass. Well, very quickly, since I've been told very quickly. The VSGA Executive Secretary's office was the trunk of a Buick Roadmaster. It had a combination of trophies like the VSGA monstrous sterling silver trophy that resided in that trunk. The various and sundry rules and regulations for the tournaments, and what we call score sheets. Bunny did it all. I mean, he put the score sheets up, then he filled them out. He told everybody what to do and how to do it. It was a totally volunteer job. Matt, I think probably, things are a little tough. We got a lot of inflation. Maybe you want to just volunteer for the balance of this year and next. I think it'd certainly be fitting. But he was he only served for 10 years. And Lanny was very humble to say that it was during the peak of Lanny's career. And Bunny handed Lanny a lot of trophies. From state amateurs to the various and sundry four balls to this, to that, to the other thing. And every now and then he'd slide Bobby one just to make him feel good. But
only when you and I weren't playing.
Wonderful man, and he was dedicated to his role. He started what became a now, Matt, I don't know how many people organization, but you can speak to it, how much difference it is. And he was the catalyst for the Fox-Puss. My godfather, Charlie Hancock, happened to be the puss of the Fox-Puss group, and that thing has survived for 40 years. I think I probably played it 50 years ago, so it's probably been 50. Hate to say it. Anyway, wonderful man, and very, very worthy of this recognition. Thank you.
I knew that was going to be a tough act to follow, following Vinnie Giles. I'd like to start quickly by congratulating the other inductees here tonight, Grace Ann, Galen, Phil. Very fortunate to know each of them very well. Galen taught me about the rules of golf. Phil actually taught me how to play golf. It's not on his resume, but he gave me lessons in the mid-90s when he was at Roanoke Country Club. And I would say Grace Ann taught me how to love the game. So very, very worthy inductees. I'm honored to say just a few words about Bunny Blankenship. I did not have the pleasure of meeting Bunny, but I feel a connection to him, just like I do with Galen Hill, Wallace McDowell, Clyde Luther, Richard Smith. They're the reason when you start working for the VSGA, people say it's one of the best golf associations in the country, and why we run the best tournaments in the country, and something we try to carry on today as the staff members of the VSGA. So we definitely feel a connection to those who came before us, and honored to be here to speak on Bunny. Lanny touched on a couple of the things I wanted to say. Bunny was president of the VSGA in '59 and '60. In the 50s, the VSGA grew from 52 member clubs to over 100 member clubs. So when we got to 1962, we decided we needed to add an executive secretary. And as records have it, it was a unanimous selection to pick Bunny Blankenship for that role. And in 1962, he became the first executive secretary. He served in that capacity until 1972 when he passed from his home in Lynchburg, from a car, from wherever he needed to get the job done. I did find the letter, which Lanny picked up on some of the things in that letter, but I'll touch on a few of those things. In the early 70s, Bunny wrote a letter to the board that outlined his job responsibilities. Check the bylaws and recommend new clubs for membership. Contact club members to host 6 or 7 events per year and set the schedule for the events. Responsible for the printing, mailing, and receiving of all entry forms and entry fees. Conduct all VSGA tournaments, along with the VSGA officials, which we didn't have too many officials back in that day, I don't believe. I think it was pretty much the board members along with Bunny. Inform the executive committee members of place, time, and date of meetings. Pay all the bills. Collect club dues, which I can tell you today can sometimes be challenging. Handicap fees and VSGA annual ads. Assemble pictures, article ads, and organize with the printer the VSGA annual. Inform the press of activities of the VSGA. And last but not least, he listed other duties too numerous to mention. So I would say in looking at that list, that's not all that dissimilar from what we do today, and it takes 15 of us to do that. So that says a lot about what Bunny did day in and day out. It's clear Bunny has a significance to the past, the present, and the future of Virginia golf, and abundantly clear that he's deserving of being in the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Jack Isaacs. An issue of Golf Digest published in the late 1960s included a pro pointer, which they used to do way back in the day, by Willow Oaks Country Club head professional Jack Isaacs. The feature was titled Homestyle Improvement and had drawing of Isaacs hitting golf balls into a mattress off a mat in his garage. I think that's the same mattress I slept on at Steve's house last time I was there. His point, you can improve your game without going near the golf course. All it takes is a desire and the do-it-yourself home kit. Isaacs had reason for assembling such a home setup. As he got older, he wanted to improve as a competitive player, and the tireless practice helped him accomplish that goal. Amazing record. He reached the semifinals of the PGA Championship at age 45. And I looked it up. He lost on the 39th hole in the semis to a guy, I gotta look at it, this guy named Felice Torza, who I've never heard of before or since. And anyway, Torza got beat in the finals by Walter Berkemo. In the semis, Berkemo beat Claude Harmon. So we almost had 2 club professionals playing for the PGA Championship in Detroit that summer. And Berkemo beat Claude Harmon 1-up, and Jack lost on the 39th hole in the semis. Amazing stuff. I love this picture. On the left, Jack Isaacs, Chandler Harper, Sam Snead, and Tom Strange. The first time I saw Tom Strange, I won my first VSGA tournament. I won the VSGA Junior Amateur when I was 14 years old at Bow Creek, where Tom was the pro at the time. He did a clinic for us, and I remember that distinctly. He had just a gorgeous golf swing, and we were all amazed at watching Tom hit the ball and how well he played. He also did something I'd never seen before. He took a full swing with a teed-up driver and hit it 6 inches. Yeah, and it had us all enthralled in how well he could hit the ball and everything he did. The other thing I remember about that clinic, there were these 2 cute little twin boys sitting right behind Tom while he was giving this clinic, which doesn't say a damn thing for cute because it turned out to be Alan and Curtis. Not cute. Curtis especially. You're cuter, Alan. Isaacs was both a tremendous teacher and player. He won 5 Virginia PGA Open titles, added 3 titles in the Maryland Open. He won the Mid-Atlantic PGA Section Championship in 1941 and the Mid-Atlantic Golf Association Senior Championship 3 years in a row about 20 years later. He played in a combined 25 U.S. Opens and PGA Championships, 16 Senior PGA Championships, and 2 Masters. Now, I gotta love this picture. There's Jack Isaacs on the left, Charlie Isaacs in the center, Lynn Isaacs not throwing a club, and Steve Isaacs with hair. It's a hell of a deal. All that in one picture. Isaacs was inducted to the Middle Atlantic Golf PGA Hall of Fame in 1996 and served as president of the Virginia Association of Golf Professionals from 1951 to 54. His career included stops at Laurel Golf Club, Chesterfield Golf Club, which I didn't even know existed, Old Dominion Golf Club, Langley Air Force Base, DeQuesta Country Club in Florida, and Willow Oaks in Richmond. The Virginia Golf Hall of Fame is proud to induct Jack Isaacs as a member of his class of 2022 in recognition of his many years of excellence and outstanding contributions to the game of golf in Virginia and beyond. Presented this 19th day of October, 2022. Steve Isaacs will now accept for Jack.
They're going to take a picture of it, so this is for you to take for the family.
Thank you so much, Lanny, and bear with me in some respects. I wasn't given a script of the remarks that everybody has made so far, what was in the book. I'm going to repeat some of it, but I really do think it's worth it. And I also want to thank GIF again and the wonderful Independence Golf Club facility and the wonderful staff here for supporting golf in Virginia by not only hosting this event, but as was said earlier, by hosting the Virginia State Opens. I know how hard it is to obtain a golf course for a golf tournament, and the fact they've done that for the last 2 years is really great. This is the 4th Hall of Fame ceremony that I've actually attended, and the master of ceremony in each one was extremely distinguished, and the 2 I didn't attend, where Steve Sands and Gary Koch appeared, they were distinguished, as well as Terry Gannon, the late Tim Rosafort, and Dottie Pepper. But I have to say, given the chance, no one is more eminently qualified to MC this event than Lanny. He's not only one of our own, he's a native Richmonder and a proud Virginian. And this is one thing that's not in the program, and I'm going to get him to comment on it just briefly, but he is a multiple Hall of Fame member. He's a member of the Wake Forest University Athletic Hall of Fame. He's a member of the Texas Golf Hall of Fame, the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame, and in the class of 2009, preceded by only 93 others, he went into the World Golf Hall of Fame. The only other 2 Virginians in that are Sam Snead and Curtis Strange. But this is the good part. Last but not least, and not to be outdone by the World Golf Hall of Fame, Lanny was inducted into the Meadowbrook High School Athletic Hall of Fame. I know, he sent me to accept for him. Have I left any halls out?
Hey, you got it. Yeah, that's it.
Beulah Elementary?
No,
As has been said, Lanny won the U.S. Amateur in 1970, and another tidbit, Lanny won the first ever sudden death playoff in a major championship history, the 1977 PGA Championship at Pebble Beach. But what most people don't know is that he didn't know that it was sudden death. So what did he do after he tied Gene Littler and went to the clubhouse? He drank a beer. And then they came and got him and said, Lanny, you're in a playoff with Gene Littler. Little known, that's what happens when you know someone 63 years. You find out those things. Between 1977 and 1993, Lanny represented our country on 8 occasions as a member of the Ryder Cup team and served as captain in 1995. And as Gib mentioned before, Lanny was the lead golf analyst for CBS, and he's now the lead golf analyst for the Champions Tour on the Golf Channel. And again, when you watch the Golf Channel and you see Lanny on the Champions Tour, as Gib said, you often hear, "What's he got, Billy Ray?" And you probably didn't know this, but according to Lanny, that's now a drinking game. Every time Lanny says Billy Ray, they take a drink. Lanny is here this week for the Golf Channel broadcast of the Dominion Charity Energy Classic from the James River Course at the Country Club of Virginia, where he won his first professional tournament, appropriately the VSGA Open in 1971. I think it's fitting to express how much we appreciate Lanny appearing and serving his Master of Ceremony and sharing his valuable time with the VSGA. As I mentioned, this will be my second time accepting a Hall of Fame honor on behalf of another, this time for Thomas H. Jack Isaacs. To set the record straight as I can, based on my research on Ancestry.com, and I am not very good at the tech stuff. Jack's grandfather and my father's grandfather were brothers, making Jack and my father cousins. But after Jack and his wife Rosalie moved to Richmond in 1965 to take the head professional job at Willow Oaks, he simply became Uncle Jack. My brother Len and I were fortunate to have received many golf lessons from Jack, and I had many dinners at their apartment where I enjoyed the great cooking of Rosalie and the stories of Jack's playing and competitive career. We shared many family events and holidays, and my sister Martha, who is present, and Rosalie were very close. If Jack was here, he would be humbled and delighted that so many former inductees are in attendance and how their presence contributes to how special this event is. He would congratulate the 2022 class of new inductees and thank the Hall of Fame nominating committee, especially David Partridge, who solicited the nomination, the VSGA, and Gib Palmer for creating and continuing the success of the Hall of Fame. This recognition is about legacy and is well-deserved, and that Jack was an integral part of the rich history and tradition of golf in Virginia. Before Vinnie Giles, Lanny and Bobby Watkins, and Curtis Strange, the record indicates the most accomplished golfers from the state of Virginia were Sam Snead, Chandler Harper, and then Jack Isaacs. They were contemporaries. They were born only 8 years apart. They were friends, they were traveling companions, and they were competitors. And how appropriate it is that Chandler's younger sister Lily joins Jack in this class. As has been said, and you've read, Jack's resume speaks for itself, but is most impressive as his major playing accomplishments occurred at a later age, at the age of 40 and even to his 50s and 60s. I'm going to repeat and actually quote Jack, because let him say in his own words what he said in that pro pointer that Lanny mentioned. He starts off and he says, "Feel is the total answer in golf, and why interminable." When I read that, I said, I'm not so sure Jack wrote that. So I looked it up in Webster's. Interminable means unending. So while unending practice is the only answer to obtaining it, you don't have to go near a golf course in the process. I spent one whole winter hitting a few hundred balls a day off a mat in my garage into a mattress, learning to control the ball with my hands. Other times I spent hour after hour putting on the living room rug. I developed a fine touch that the fastest greens could never hinder. It paid off because I won the Virginia Open the first time at 42 and the last of 5 times at 52. I reached the semifinals of the PGA Championship at 45. As Lanny said, he lost on the 39th hole of the semifinals. What do you think the live golf players think about playing 39 holes in one day in one match?
Hard to do with a shotgun start.
Yeah, they only played 54 holes over 3 days. And he qualified for the British Open after he was 50. So I repeat, you can improve your game without going near the golf course. Little did Jack know he was portending the use of launch monitors, TrackMan, and video displays, but that information was stored in his hands. A couple of other tidbits. In 1961, I saw this myself when I was 13, along with a fellow junior, Paul Scott, who was a member of Willow Oaks, who's here tonight. We played in the Pro Junior with Jack at Boonesboro, and Vinny will appreciate this. Jack was 53 years old. He began the round eagle, birdie, eagle, and he went on to shoot 66 and win the Pro Sweeps. While at Willow Oaks at the age of 57, Jack qualified for and played in the 1965 PGA Championship at Law Valley Club in Pennsylvania. Jack lived in an era when club professionals were expected and encouraged by their members to compete, and it was then and is now a matter of vicarious satisfaction of how well he succeeded and that this recognition is being bestowed. I counted over 241 signatures on the funeral home register when Jack died 40 years ago in 1982. It included almost anyone who played golf at Willow Oaks, but I was really struck by the number and names of the fellow professionals that offered their respects, and obviously the esteem in which they held Jack. Not only for his excellent talent as a competitor, but giving back to the profession as an officer of the Virginia Association of Golf Professionals. Many of you will recognize their name. Mitch Johnson, Ronnie Kelly, Bill Smith, Chandler Harper, Leo Steinbrecher, Tony Steinbrecher, Wenzel Spencer, Harry Kelly, Tom Doherty, Jimmy McFarland, George Tinsley, Frank Hiroko, who is here tonight and took lessons from Jack, and he can tell you it led to some really excellent results. Wade Briggs, Mac Main, Severin White, Jerry and Francis Watkins were there, and Peter Hodson. Sadly, Peter passed away on September 25th. After meeting Peter while playing exhibitions in Wales and the UK, Jack, Chandler Harper, and Harry Kelly assisted Peter in relocating to the United States. Jack hired Peter as his assistant at Willow Oaks in 1965. When Jack retired and took emeritus status at Willow Oaks in 1969, Peter became the professional until 1988. Peter was the son that Jack never had. He and Rosalie did not have children. And part of Jack's legacy to Virginia golf, Peter was the embodiment of professionalism, kindness, hard work, and service. He and Vinnie Giles are responsible for bringing the MAPGA and the VSGA together to form the one state open we have today. I was hoping and praying Peter would be here tonight, but I'm pleased that his son Andrew is here tonight, as well as Hank Klein, a good friend of Andrew, a member of Willow Oaks, who was a protege of Jack and Peter. And Hank was also a former state amateur champion. Again, thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for the recognition of Jack Isaacs, a great golf talent, a true gentleman, and a major contributor to and ambassador for the profession, the business, and the game of golf in Virginia. Thank you.
Well done, Steve. Hard to believe a guy that can be that meticulous and that well-spoken. You take him as a caddy to Australia, and the first thing he does is lose the towel. Caddies never lose the towel. Second thing he did, we were playing out there the first day we got on this par 5, and I lay up on this par 5, and I said, what we got? He's got the yardage book. He said, well, you got 90 to the front and the flags, 15 back. He got 105 yards. I said, okay. So the next day I lay up to exactly the same spot. So I said, what do we got? He said, you got 120 to the front. I said, what happened to 90 from yesterday? I don't know. I said, let me guess. You added instead of subtracting today. So that's the kind of caddy I got. We've traveled a lot, played a lot of golf. the Isaacs have been great friends of mine go back to when we were 10 years old, and so to have Steve up here is special for me. And it's one of the very reasons I always get back to Richmond and spend time with him. We had a great dinner last night, as we always do, and a lot of fun being there. Took him to Hawaii with me one time. He and Brant went with Penny and I to Montalani when I was representing Montalani Resort. And Tom Watson was vacationing there. My brother Bobby was there. So every morning, Bobby and Steve and Watson and I went out and played about 7:15 with the first group off and played, and we're back on the beach by 9:30, 10 o'clock. If I asked Tom Watson today and mentioned Steve Isaacs, the first words out of his mouth are going to be worst putter I've ever seen. Only Tom can say it right. Anyway, we're going to move on. Oops, went one too far right there. That jumped on me. There we go. One of the world's great ambassadors for adaptive golf, Grace Ann Braxton, is so respected that she was selected to hit the opening tee shot in the inaugural U.S. Adaptive Open held this past summer at Pinehurst Resort in North Carolina. Upon hearing of Braxton's inclusion in the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame, Rick Jeffrey, the recently retired president of Special Olympics Virginia, said, "This is incredible news since our program is really about what's possible, and that is exactly what Grace Ann is." Golf wasn't Grace Ann's first sport. When she made her first appearance in the Special Olympics World Game in 1991, she competed as a swimmer and a bowler. But once golf was added as an option, she quickly gained an interest, started from the lowest level, and worked her way through the process. And what rewards came from that process? As she improved, she represented the U.S. all over the world. I thought I'd been some places, traveling to China, Greece, Abu Dhabi, and Scotland, along with numerous places in the U.S. In 2019, she was a member of the Solheim Cup Diversity Cup team at Glen Eagles in Scotland, representing the United States. She won 2 U.S. Disabled Golf Association Women's Opens and is a 2-time Special Olympics world champion. She finished 4th among women at the inaugural U.S. Adaptive Open and was the top finisher among those with intellectual impairments. The Virginia Golf Hall of Fame is proud to induct Grace Ann Braxton as a member of its class in 2022 in recognition of many years of excellence and outstanding contributions to the game of golf in Virginia and beyond, presented on this 19th day of October, 2022. Grace Ann Braxton.
Take a picture, okay?
Hi guys. Sorry. I'm gonna recognize a few people, but I wanna wait to the end for you to clap your hands. Is that okay with you guys? Fine. Okay, first person I'm gonna introduce is my former president of Special Olympics Virginia, Mr. Rick Jeffrey, LGA, the Ladies Golf Association at Fredericksburg Country Club, Becky Paul, the captain of the Piedmont League at Fredericksburg Country Club, who I play for, my father who got me into golf, and is my caddy, part sometimes, and my family, my mom Gail, my younger brother Bill, who's now my caddy, my supporters and my friends like Boone McGurn, Lindsay Wortham, Lena Duvall, Judy Brush, and John Hurst, and Keith Decker, and coaches and caddies. Thank you. I would like to say a quote. I like to leave a quote that I left in this Daily Post newspaper from the inaugural U.S. Adaptive Open in Pinehurst at 2022 this year, which was one of my favorite courses. I love playing Pioneers, and it was one of the best for me. Except I missed, according to my dad, I only missed 3 fairways. So here it is. Okay, it can make people learn that it doesn't matter what kind of disability you have, as long as you're playing golf together and you can have a good time. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you very much for this award. This was something I will be remembered for a long time to come, and I'm very happy to become a member of the VSGA with my favorite people in the world are Keith Decker, Curtis Strains, Laney Watkins, and Bobby Watkins. Thank you.
I hate to sit here and think how great some of us in this room could have been had we even given half the amount of energy and work effort put into golf that Grace Ann put into it. I can't even imagine, and I'm so proud that you're part of this Hall of Fame, Grace Ann. What a wonderful, wonderful achievement, and congratulations on your magnificent career. Just outstanding. Galen Hill. There is an elite group of rules golf officials in Virginia, of which Harry Easterly is not part of, including 4 already in the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame: Clyde Luther, Wallace McDowell, Lou Blakely, and Richard Smith. Tonight, Galen Hill deservedly takes center stage with his induction into the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame. The longtime tournament director of the Eastern Amateur, which I played in more times than I can count, and actually my boys played it. Last time I was down there, I was actually caddying for my youngest son, Tucker. But the longtime tournament director of the Eastern Amateur at Elizabeth Manor Golf and Country Club, Hill has worked 40 VSGA amateur championships and is considered one of Virginia's great rules experts. Hill's expertise led to nationwide assignments. He's worked 10 U.S. Opens, 13 U.S. Amateurs, and several U.S. Senior Opens. He spent 26 years as the lead rules official for the Atlantic Coast Conference. I've seen him there many times, and was responsible for course setup at the ACC Championship. Oh, you're the one. So that's why Wake Forest didn't win. He's also worked numerous NCAA championships and regionals over the course of his career. Hill was named the Portsmouth Sportsman of the Year in 2003 for more than 20 years of volunteer work with the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, a key pre-draft showcase for potential NBA players. The VSJ honored Hill with its President's Award in 2004. The Virginia Golf Hall of Fame is proud to induct Galen Hill as a member of its class of 2022 in recognition of many years of excellence and outstanding contributions to the game of golf in Virginia and beyond. Presented this 19th day of October, 2019. Galen Hill.
Thank you, sir.
Galen. Galen. Do the picture.
Okay.
All right. Good.
I stand before you all tonight because of someone that I think made a great contribution to Virginia golf, and that was Wallace McDowell, the late Wallace McDowell. Wallace used to come to the Eastern Amateur every year and spend a few days with us. He finally invited me to start helping with the state tournaments, and I was glad to do so. Working with Wallace was such a pleasure. When Wallace retired, we had a few questionable years of leadership, but finally we were able to hire the two that we now, well, correction before that, we were able to hire Richard Smith. And Richard did a great job for quite a few years. Unfortunately, Richard is no longer with us. But he was a pleasure to work with. And if I said to Richard, let's get this started tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. When I got there, Richard was already on the course at 7:30. And that was the way he was always doing it. Unfortunately, we no longer have Richard with us anymore. After Richard retired, though, we got two very, very good leaders. A few years were rough, but then we were able to hire Matt Smiley and Josh, and both do an excellent job for our state at this time. Let's give them a hand. The USGA, the VSGA has always been my focus, and it's the tournaments that I wanted to do the most. Unfortunately, there were times when I got involved with the ACC and the USGA, and we had times that conflicted. But still, whenever I was able to, the VSGA tournaments were my priority. I live 100 miles from Richmond. As a result of that, being involved with the VSGA was not always easy, but it was a pleasure. And whenever I had to, I always managed to make that 100-mile drive. In addition to the VSGA events, I've also had the pleasure of doing 12 U.S. amateur events, 10 U.S. Opens, and many more ACC championships than I can remember. And they've all been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Galen, and it's people like you that have made the game so special for those of us that have played it for so many years. I can't even imagine how this game would have been had we not had people like you and the ones that have come before you, all the way back to the PJ Boatwrights of the world that have made this thing so special all through the years. And thank you for everything you've done. Pleasure knowing you. Thank you. Being a part of the golf business has been a passion of Phil Owenby's as long as he can remember. He turned that passion into action and became one of the region's most respected PGA professionals. Born in Charlottesville, Owenby played golf at North Carolina State. Everybody had to play somewhere. But returned to Virginia to begin his career as a golf professional. First as an assistant professional at Farmington Country Club, then as head professional at Hunting Hills in Roanoke and Boonesboro Country Club in Lynchburg. Among his pupils were two Virginia Golf Hall of Famers, Candy Kessler-Comer and Donna Andrews. Owenby's focus eventually shifted from the teaching side of the game to the business side. He was director of golf at Kenlock Golf Club in the early 2000s before moving around, first to Chichessie Creek Golf Club on Hilton Head, not a bad place to end up, and then to his current post, the Dormy Network. Owenby has been recognized by his peers. He was the Mid-Atlantic PGA Golf Professional of the Year in 2010 and earned the VSGA's President Award in 2016. His dedication to detail and service has earned praise from peers from across the industry. The Virginia Golf Hall of Fame is proud to induct Phil Owenby as a member of its class of 2022 in recognition of many years of excellence and outstanding contributions to the game of golf in Virginia and beyond, presented on this 19th day of October, 2022.
So I guess the first thing I need to say is go Wolfpack.
It's okay.
Is that all right?
We'll get you in a couple weeks.
Exactly. First, let me congratulate all the other 2022 Virginia Golf Hall of Fame inductees. A terrific night for all of us, and certainly honored to be a part of it. A special thanks to Gift Breed and his fine staff here at Independence Golf Club for hosting this celebration and providing such a great event. It's certainly a tremendous honor, and I'm truly humbled with this induction to the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame. As a native Virginian and starting my career in golf in the mid-'70s, as a young professional on the staff at Farmington Country Club in Charlottesville, this is an honor that was certainly never expected, or without a heartfelt thanks to many that have influenced my life and career over the past 4.5 decades. In a recent conversation with Vinny, he advised me to speak from the heart tonight and keep my remarks under 40 minutes. I'm confident both of these will be accomplished. I must begin with expressing my gratitude and thanks to those that have given so much in assisting me in this life's journey. My family, always first, always supported, as we moved around the state from Charlottesville to Roanoke, Lynchburg, back to Roanoke, and then Richmond. They've always been there, supportive, and with an unconditional and genuine bond. Special thanks to my terrific wife of 46 years, Susan, who has been by my side through all the successes and fortunately all the challenges. Our daughter Meredith, always a welcoming smile, and always has been a bright light at the end of those long days on the practice field. Our two sons, Jason and Ryan, who have picked up more range balls than they care to acknowledge or remember. We talk often about the great memories of having them alongside me at Boonesboro, Roanoke, and Kinloch, although they still may be a little bitter for some reason about the extravagant $6 an hour I paid them. I have no idea why. And anytime we talk about our family now, the conversation will always center around the special, magnificent 7, our awesome 4 grandsons and 3 granddaughters, who are already swinging the clubs and chasing the golf ball around the course, the backyard, the beach, the den, the dining room, and wherever they can hit a ball. It's also safe, safe to say that they are partial to ice cream, just like they get from their granddad. While acknowledging family members, I must also say a word or two about my father, Herb Owenby, and Uncle Ralph Lang. Both were the main influencers of my passion for this great game. My dad, who was not really an avid golfer, however, he introduced my older brother and me to the game on the sand greens at McIntyre Park in Charlottesville when I was just 6 years old. I gained much of my confidence and positive outlook on life from his influence and enthusiastic attitude. He instilled the importance of always caring about others. He would often share a few bits of wisdom, which I still remember today. Sometimes when people would ask him, "How are you doing today?" he would reply, "I decided a long time ago I was going to feel good today." During the time of life that I remember, he had such a great attitude, and one that I'm grateful to have experienced. My draw to golf instruction was certainly influenced by my uncle Ralph Lang, a PGA professional who taught me much about the game and ignited the passion for teaching, coaching, and assisting others enjoy golf. He taught me about the importance of short game, especially putting. Growing up on his golf course in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where the Wolfpack came in, I can still recall making so many laps around the putting green with him, standing in the middle of the green, pointing to the next cup and sharing putting stroke tips. I can still hear him saying, "Grip pressure is the key to good putting. Don't ever squeeze the toothpaste out of that handle." He liked the free-flowing motion of the putter through the stroke with a nice steady rhythm. This tip and many of his early lessons I passed on through the years to many of my players as well. As mentioned earlier, I began my career in golf as an assistant professional at Farmington Country Club in Charlottesville, under the guidance and mentorship of John Snyder. and according to John, everything was always fantastic. Those of us that knew him and had the good fortune to work with him experienced his enthusiasm, dedication, and commitment to the game. It was a perfect start for me in my career as John encouraged my passion for teaching and coaching. One of my first players was an 11-year-old talented young girl, Candy Kessler. Over the next several years, I was fortunate to be a part in the growth of her game and watch her success from a front row seat. As we all know, she was inducted in the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame last year and is an accomplished, respected instructor and coach with so many talented young players under her tutelage. I was also fortunate to be at the right place at the right time at Boonesboro Country Club in Lynchburg to coach another Virginia Golf Hall of Famer, Donna Andrews. Both Candy and Donna were can't-miss talents. With terrific athletic abilities and competitive spirits, really all I had to do was keep practice balls rolling out in front of them, and they handled the rest. There's no question that I learned more from them than they did from me, as I was able to enhance my teaching and coaching skills through their growth and progress during the formidable years. While at Farmington, it was awesome to share the assistant professional duties with my fellow PGA professional and lifelong friend, Ed Curran. We have known each other since we were teenagers and have shared many experiences during our professional careers. And as they say down in Eastern North Carolina, he's a good one. As mentioned, the 3 years at Farmington really ignited and fueled my passion for teaching and coaching golf. The next 20 years of my career in Roanoke, Lynchburg, and back to Roanoke was essentially devoted to instruction, where my two key priorities were: one, developing relationships, and two, sharing the love of the game. I've had the privilege and pleasure to assist many of Virginia's top players, as well as many other players that have reached their personal milestones. I've always found comfort and energy when working with players, assisting them improve their skill at golf while enjoying the journey it takes us on. Teaching, coaching, and developing provided my platform to fulfillment. Regardless of skill, level, or age, I thrived on the relationships and truly enjoy seeing others have fun with the game. As instructors, we have a terrific opportunity to pass along confidence and enjoyment of the challenge to our players. We never hit a shot and never make a bogey. However, we experience the disappointments, we get first tee jitters, and we celebrate the victories. Teaching to me is a partnership and true relationship with the player. The old saying certainly holds true. They never know how much they never care how much you know until they know how much you care. There always seems a time in life when opportunities present themselves. As mentioned earlier, it's about being in the right place at the right time. That happened for me when serving the membership at Roanoke Country Club back in the 90s. While searching for a talented golf course architect to assist in the renovation of the 100-year-old Tillinghast layout, we engaged with Lester George. I recall Lester commenting he was working on a design on a new course in Richmond with Vinnie Giles. Soon thereafter, I connected with Vinnie, who I had fortunately got to know while at Boonesboro and Lynchburg several years earlier. A few weeks later, I found myself in Richmond on a crisp fall day, riding in a pickup truck with Vinnie and Charlie Staples on a parcel of land in Goochland County with only a center line cut through the trees to designate the 19-hole layout that Lester and Vinnie had crafted. After the bumpy tour, we had a barbecue sandwich for lunch at Bill's Barbecue that was inside the country store there in Goochland. That's where my career path changed from priority on instruction to a focus on club management through hospitality and service. The next 15 years, being a part of the team at Kenlock Golf Club, establishing the business operations, and developing relationships with management, staff teammates, members, and guests certainly was a tremendously rewarding time in my life. Having the opportunity to share the energy, excitement, and challenges with this terrific group of professionals will always be a positive and gratifying memory for me. Like many of us, Vinny has been very influential in my life. Certainly he has been a catalyst for my career and a solid friend. Like all of you and everyone in golf, I have great respect for his accomplishments and truly believe he is arguably the best amateur of all time. Having retired for the first time in 2016, and really planning to settle into sharing time with grandchildren, along with a few consulting opportunities, another enticing endeavor presented itself. It was again a chance of being at the right place at the right time, and came in the form of a new project from a friend in the business, Bill Kubley with Landscapes Unlimited. Bill introduced me to friends of his in Lincoln, Nebraska that were interested in developing a network of private destination clubs. Since 2017, the Dormy Network has been an awesome experience for me to be a part of developing the golf hospitality component of this enterprise. Through the past half century, wow, that seems like a long time, and sure doesn't seem that long ago. It has been terrific developing many lasting relationships with friends in and through the golf industry. My association with the terrific teams at Summit Golf Brands, PGA Magazine, Golf Business Network, and others hopefully have been mutually beneficial and certainly fun for me getting to know them all as colleagues and friends. I will always be grateful to have had the opportunities to be in a position to touch lives and hopefully knowingly and unknowingly shared the passion, enjoyment, and satisfaction afforded through golf. Many of us have collectively and individually given back to the game through playing, coaching, participating, and administrating. The enjoyment and challenge of golf will continue to prosper and grow with Virginians, and like us, there are others continuing to promote the traditions, administer major events, serve others, and develop lasting relationships, all from the collective commitment and passion for the game. Thank you to all responsible for this incredible honor. It is certainly a special night, and all the best to each of you.
I think what Phil's done in working with the two ladies that are already in the Virginia Golf Hall of Fame, and I can't help but think that there's not a player of any substance anywhere that doesn't know a big thank you to some PGA Tour, or PGA professional at some point in time. I know none of us that play the tour would have ever been where we are if it wasn't for the help of a lot of people. And I think back to my days at Meadowbrook, and I know that number of times that Papa Lumpkin helped my brother and I, and never took a dime, and my annual Christmas gift was a set of clubs because I couldn't afford them at that point in time. And I wore Popeye's. He gave me his hand-me-down shoes forever. Probably why I have hammer toes to this day, because they were too small. But it was golf shoes. And anyway, Phil, thank you, and congratulations to all the new inductees. And let's give one more hearty round of applause to all our new inductees, the class of 2022. Please look for an announcement of the class of 2023 next spring, when we will also announce the location and date for the next year's induction ceremony. And last but not least, there will be a reception in the fall line room where you had cocktails, and I think there's a drink waiting for me. So, folks, thank you so much. Love being back here in Richmond and being a part of this. And I think we got it here before Vinny's bedtime, so it's good to go.